Alright, there it is. First piece of the frame put on. Just tacked on for now, just in case I need to change something. I want to do something different. This will be the frontmost piece of the roof. Roof will come all the way up to here, and then from here forward, I'm gonna work on making a curved piece or doing something to finish the shape out on the front, or I'll just give up and put the Winnebago thing back on if all else fails, if it takes too much time. I don't know, I think the 16 gauge might be thin enough. I could just bend it around this corner, but I don't want to follow this angle. I want it to come around and kind of come out like this and meet the front edge of that. So we'll see how that goes. Right now we're just getting it framed out. Love my new tools. It needs me a good set of clamps. Makes things so much easier. Maybe some squares too. I am not liking this bottom lip on the floor here. I don't think it's really doing much. It kind of protects the bottom edge of the wall. I suppose, from stuff getting underneath it, but it needs to be sealed anyway with like a splash guard or something. None of the other walls are going to have any weird little lip thing going on. This actually looks like the side mounting plate to my stove, or to my stovetop. Looks exactly like it without the slotted holes or whatever. I think they just use that to patch in a hole. Actually, I think it's a matching spot where a step can go in if you want to do a passenger side door. Anyway, I don't like this stuff. I was kind of thinking I might just weld into it, but it's going to make it harder to slip insulation in behind here, and harder to work on it in the future if I ever need to cut out chunks of rusty floor and fix it. So yeah, I'm just going to nip that out real quick. I mean, there's a lip over here. I want to get these pieces too. We'll do that as well. Yeah, just like there's a little lip right here, but nothing here because of the step, and we're not using the step anymore. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side with the beam going across here. So yeah, let's just cut the lip off, and then we'll get these cross pieces, which were to hold some, you know, some decorative type thing up on the wall. So let's cut this lip off. Off. Pretty good chunks of metal there if I need it. Get the lip shaved off. Much better. All right, there's the what do we call that? The subfloor. It's going to be where the tanks sit after we put some plywood down or something. Then we'll build off from this, frame it up for the rest of the walls. Going to make it so the sides attach and detach. Maybe doors, probably just going to screw them on. That way I can take them off and work on the tanks. Slide them out if I need to replace them. So between here and here, we'll screw on some plates. And then from everything up, we're going to weld. So I already started putting the welder away, or else I would put this piece on. This will be the back piece. So we can frame up from here as well. Frame up from here. It'll be nice and straight. This, everything went super smooth except for this thing. I think it may have gotten into a little bump, a little situation where somebody maybe drove off a curb or something. I know I didn't do that. I would have remembered that. But yeah, this was up about 1/4 of an inch, so I had to beat that pretty good with a sledgehammer to bring that back down. But it's all squared up. It's actually turned out better than I thought it would. But that's it. There's the back of the wall. We frame up probably every 4 feet so the panels can go on easy, and then we'll do some smaller stuff in between. Alright, the subfloor framework is done. Had a couple hang-ups here. I was trusting that these were straight, but they were not. So we had to, this ended up about 1/4 inch in farther than it needed to be, so I chopped that with the Sawzall. And it actually popped out 1/4 inch, right where it needed to be. So I think the heat from welding warped this and pushed it inward. Since I started at the back end here, because I thought it would be easier just to weld this at the distance I needed to be, and then the whole thing would be straight, right where it should. But I think as I welded, it started pushing it in. I don't know. But the back end was definitely crooked. That was out about 3/8 of an inch. So I had to chop this. That popped out right where it needed to be, so I just re-welded it around the gaps, added a little reinforcement piece here. It looks kind of crazy. This was perfect. And then over here, same thing with the Sawzall. Chopped a 3/8 inch chunk out and brought that in with some ratchet straps to straighten that out. And boom, we got it. Yeah, that was a headache though. I need to start checking these before I weld them in, because they're not all straight like I thought they were. They're such long pieces, it's kind of hard to tell without putting a straight edge up against it. So yeah, a little hang up there. Easy fix though. Happy to say that went quick. Got the back piece on, welded up, stitch welded in quite a few places. Just wanted that extra reinforced for the back piece here. Got a little more welding on this side since this end was drooping down for some reason. I'm not sure why. Everything is lining up perfect. I'm really happy with it all. But yeah, for whatever reason that was drooping down. Maybe because this driveway's not, you can see I'm bracing up the front tire there with some 2x4s. This driveway's pretty crooked and uneven, so I think the the back tire is in a dip and dropping that down. So it didn't take much to lift that up. It was just maybe 1/4 inch hanging down. So we lifted that up. Got some big fat stitch welding over there. Looking, some of these welds turn out great. I don't know what the heck is going on with my welder in settings. All of this was done with the same settings. I'm on C, whatever the heck that is. And then I bop in between the bottom of 2, the middle of 2, and the top of 2. I hate this speed setting. It's way too sensitive. It goes so fast over here. I don't know what you'd even use that for. Maybe aluminum? I don't know, but that thing's so finicky. But yes, we're actually laying dimes on some of these. Some of these turning out really good. Really sturdy. I'm really happy with this. This is exactly what I wanted. The more I weld in, the more I get into this, the more I'm happy with what I'm doing here. You know, it's a kind of iffy, unknown situation. But now that I have this, just the framework, the basic framework, you know, where we could build up from and out from, it's making me really happy. It's going to be smooth sailing from here, at least for the framing part. We're going to get into the doors, and that'll be questionable how well that will go. I am still thinking about making my own side door here. I don't know yet. I'm even contemplating bringing out the old door and just seeing how bad off that is. Maybe we can reuse that. Everything pretty darn solid. Do a little more welding in some of these places. Extend the stitch welds. I didn't want to go too crazy. I want to save my welding wire. But yeah, you know, we just prop this up a little bit. Threw down some fat stitch welds. Should hold it in place. I know a lot of these are turning out bad just because I'm not doing a good job scraping the old paint off some of these seams where there's some of that tar or some of that RV jerky. That stuff starts bubbling. You know, if like up here, it was really bad. They seem to have sealed this piece down with some sealant, and yeah, that'll start bubbling out when it gets really hot and causes, you know, bad spots like that. Contaminated welds. We'll go back through, clean things up a little bit. It's not too big a deal. But there it is. Yep, next step is getting more of this 1.5 inch square tube. I ran out, or I'm almost out. There's no way I'm gonna have enough to run these lengths. The back posts, maybe some support in the middle, maybe every 4 feet. That way I can have the panels line up just right. I'm gonna weld at each spot, but we'll see. I did a couple extra welds on these. There was no weld on this side. This weld was very thin, so I did some reinforcing and kind of beefed these up a little bit. Now there's no weld on that side either. Probably not the biggest deal. There's an extra support over here versus the other side, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. I'll probably still zip a weld right there. Just really weak welds on some of these spots. So I beefed them up a little bit. I even beefed up this support bar for the exhaust. It's welded, or the bar went all the way to the edge of the frame on the bottom, so that was easy to weld. This does not. This goes in and stops about 1/2 inch before it hits the frame, so there's a little piece of angle iron that I slid in there to weld up the bottom. Tops, bottoms welded up nice and fat, so that's really solid. It's a good place for hanging exhaust and other tubes if I need to. Got this exhaust hanging bar, our place where we can hang the exhaust, and then we got these things. So we'll delete those. And yeah. I also also got to run the beams across the roof as well. So we'll do some math here. Go get some steel. Might have to wait till next payday. Things are tight. If anybody wants to help out, we got some links below. But overall, yeah, I'm happy with this, and the pace is picking up. I feel like I got the hard part all done with the tear down and everything cleaned up the way I want it to. Now it's just a blank. Now it's just ready for some walls and all the rest of it. Yeah, we need some more of this stuff. I got a bunch of this, but this is the thicker 1.5 inch for the gantry thing I'm gonna make. So I might be doing that next, actually. I think I will put another one of these cross beams somewhere in the center for a little more support, and to divide up the tanks, so I can build a wall, a little tiny separator wall like they had in the last configuration. I don't know if it's important, but they had a wall separating the fresh water from the black and gray tanks. So maybe one more bar here for a little support. And also need to, I don't have to do this before everything else. I could actually wait, and would be smart because the rain is on the way, and I've got probably one more month before we start getting back into the rainy season. But I would like to get this fixed while everything's opened up here. If not, I could always do it later, but I'd like to get that done and out of the way. So I might be running into town and seeing if I could find the brake parts for that next. Now that I know how it all comes apart, that actually wouldn't be too hard just to do underneath after the floor is already in. So yeah, we'll lots more coming up.